right. Welcome to Car Scene with Dean, episode 14. This is going to be a good show today. Today I have on the show Darren Clore.
Howdy.
Jeffrey Van Heusen.
Hello.
Rusty Berg.
Good afternoon.
And in my studio audience, Kent Clore, Darren's brother. And today we're going to be talking about the 5-7 Delta race that happened last September. We're going to go over some of the things that went on there and how much fun we had and just how it all became about. And sorry, honey. So I'm just going to ask questions about how they got it together, who thought of it, and shit like that. So we'll start with that. So let's top off the tank and get underway.
Woo.
So yeah, I remember I got my invite from Darren over the summertime, and I said, sure, I'll race. I'm sure you handed out a lot of those little invitations.
I mean, not a ton.
Yeah,
but
it was good. But I'm going to go right to the morning of driving out to the race in September. It was a cool Saturday morning. I got up about 5 o'clock. I couldn't sleep that night. I was so excited about getting in the race and hoping my car would start in the morning. But yeah, I got out in the garage, started the car, let it warm up for a little bit, and got on the road. I forgot what time it was. I think I was the first one at the...
Yeah, I think you were.
I always am. But anyways, driving out there on North Avenue, once I got past 23 Mile Road, it's like I hit a wall of fog. And I couldn't even see past my hood of my car. And I have a 6-volt system, and those headlights were for shit.
Absolutely.
You know, and I don't...
Suggestion.
And being out in the north there, in the woods, in the wood area, there could have been a deer sitting in the road. I couldn't see nothing. And I passed the 27 Mile Road turn because some guy was on my ass all the way down the road. It's like, come on, man, I can't see, you know. But then I found the right driveway and I pulled in. And I pulled in there and Jeff was doing the tech on the car. Who's the other guy that was doing it?
Aaron.
Yeah. Aaron. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are just getting set up.
Yeah, we had
The guy from Brothers.
Dale,
Dale.
and then Alex Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got there, and I mean, I went by myself, and it was so fucking foggy. It was crazy.
Oh, Darren and we drove out together. I was with you, hauling your Roadster, and I was worried.
Yeah.
I was like, man, is this going to make some cars not show up?
Yeah, right.
Because a lot of them were driving.
Yeah.
And I know that there was a big amount that were being towed, but a lot of them were actually driving.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was just weird after everybody was getting there and setting up, the fog started to lift, and it was, because you couldn't even see the hangars where we were parked. It was crazy. And all of a sudden everything lifted, and it was just, the day turned out to be beautiful. It was just perfect weather. And
once it burned off.
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
You couldn't even from where I was at on the microphone stand there.
Yeah.
You couldn't even see the end of. Couldn't see the beginning of the
Yeah,
runway,
yeah.
let alone the end of the runway.
Right.
At the other side.
Yeah.
It was so
Yeah.
thick.
Just think people had never been there before, couldn't see nothing. It's like, where are we at?
Well, I know that when Aaron and I were sending the tech out, they would just disappear. You could even see where the area where they would basically park.
Yeah.
And they would leave tech and just kind of go off into the
just disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife said it was like a hot rod brigadoon.
Yeah, right.
The fog lifted, and all of a sudden
Everything's
hot
there.
rods are all there.
Yeah, that was so cool. Yeah, and so I'm going to ask a few questions about the race, how it all got formed, and things like that. So,
Real quick,
go ahead.
You might mention that because not only are there deer up there, but there's other critters that show up on that road. I swear it looked like it was a peacock.
No, there is peacocks.
Yeah. I'm coming down the road,
Really?
hauling the trailer.
Yeah.
Peacock walks right across the freaking road right in front of me.
Wow.
Where am I? What is this?
Yeah, right.
Like, deer I get, but peacocks?
Yeah, right.
Peafowl, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever they're called, I guess. Odd birds.
Yeah, right. Was it still foggy?
It was, because it just,
Yeah.
like, just out of the blue, I was towing my car because,
Yeah.
with all, having to help out, and even with the fog lights on, it was still, and then just right out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
I wasn't going very fast. I came to a stop pretty quick.
Yeah. Wow.
Now there is a lot of odd birds out there.
Besides yourself?
Yeah, not quite that.
Okay. Well, okay. Anyways, so my first question is, Darren, where did you guys get the name 57 Delta? What is that from?
So that is the like aeronautical chart call out for the airport. All the airports have like a code name, and that was the Ray Community Airport races just didn't ring. So thought we'd play. We thought that would sounded better and just
it sounds good. Yeah,
get people to ask questions.
Right. Okay. And what are the criteria of the cars? What year cars do you pick for this?
So try to keep them 54 and older, and the purpose of that is to keep modern V8s out.
Yeah, right.
To keep things reasonably slow. For lack of a better word, slow, right? We don't want, because something could look like a 265 and be a stroker 383 with 14 to 1.
Right.
600 horsepower engine.
Yeah.
And but traditional hot rods. There was a few customs racing, and there was some stock appearing full-bodied cars.
Right.
But primarily, I would say the lion's share of them were flathead Fords. 34 and older.
Yeah, I got beat by someone in a coupe. I forget, 29, 28 coupe, and blew my doors off at the end of the race. That was the guy I was matched up with.
Oh, okay.
And I'm in my Oldsmobile, 160 horsepower. He took off. All right. But it was fun.
Going for a nice drive.
Do you know who were the first guys to race?
It was you and Jeremy, right?
Yeah, I didn't know if you'd know that. Yeah, little trivia. That's a little trivia there. Yeah. Because you announced that you guys can go ahead and start racing, and no one's going out there. And I said, Jeremy, let's go out there. Really? I said, yeah, let's go race. So we went out there. We raced 3 times.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Good.
My first takeoff, I went to give it gas, and the car just stalled. It was a very embarrassing moment there. But I started it back up and drove slow down the track. But I had a great time. It was so much fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, Peggy showed up. Yeah.
It was like going back in time.
Yeah.
And that's what we
Especially
were
with the
aiming
fog.
for.
Yeah.
And the fog, people had trouble getting out there. Well, not trouble, but concerns.
Yeah.
And but from a photography standpoint, it was awesome.
Oh, there's some good pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great time.
So you're in the tech area.
Yep.
So how'd that go for you over in that area?
I was really worried
Yeah.
at first. I didn't think it was going to be as smooth as it was.
Yeah.
I thought there'd be a lot more cars that had issues. And kind of right off the bat, it just started kind of flowing. I can't remember the first car. Was your car the first to get tech?
I think so, because you guys were just getting set up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think out of all the cars, we only didn't let one
Really?
pass, and it was because he had a radiator leak. And I think he got that fixed.
He did, yeah.
Because we were like, find some bars leak somewhere.
Yeah.
We kind of told him where some auto parts stores were, because he wasn't even aware that it was leaking. When he pulled in, it was a flow coming out of the bottom of the radiator.
Yeah.
And he drove in from Muskegon, too.
Yeah, he drove all the way from Muskegon.
Yeah. And he wants to race.
Yeah.
Drive all that way.
Yeah.
Right.
And it went flawless. Everyone stuck by the guidelines.
Yeah.
Some people still had their car full of their goodies.
Yeah.
I was just like, as long as you guys get that out before you race, that's fine.
Yeah. So when you were over there, did you feel like you were missing out on everything?
No, because I couldn't see it.
That's true.
Because honestly,
you're far away.
Yeah, I don't think the fog burned off until 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
10 o'clock, because we initially intended to start at around 9, and we had to delay because
Yeah.
it just wasn't, it was so thick, it wasn't safe. But it started lifting, and then it came back in even thicker, and then by up at 10 o'clock it was gone.
And once the sun started burning it off. Yeah.
And I think there was only one guy that we were missing when we decided to say we were done. And it was that Model T.
Oh yeah, he came late.
He came late.
And then there was a few guys that were spectators that had traditional cars there.
Yeah.
Once they saw, that's how I knew things were going well, because I was in the staging lanes releasing cars, and I would see a car go from the spectator area and drive over to tech. and then
Yeah.
I'd see it come into the staging
Yeah.
lanes. I'm like, okay, this is cool. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
good.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, there was 3 guys that decided to. They were like on the fence.
yeah, yeah.
And then they decided to race the day out.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh, absolutely.
God,
Yeah.
and you racing the car you had, that was something else, man.
Oh Lord, yeah, that's the Model T Speedster I've got.
Yeah.
That, I think I surprised people with how quick that car can run. Cause,
Yeah.
And I remember that other Model T showed up with the front, he had a front neck head on it. Now I don't know which one, but those are supposed to be.
He ran, but he wasn't. There was something missing there.
Yeah,
He
he wasn't. I
He
blew the doors off.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a problem, and he said he's coming back this year
Oh,
with it
good.
solved. So
Well, maybe we'll get a little bit more.
He probably had 1,000 pounds of sheet metal on top.
Yeah, that's the other.
Yeah.
It was a full car versus me.
Yeah.
It was just the
Yeah.
the suicide bucket, if you will. But I actually got some compliments from folks who were like, I did not expect that car to be that. In fact, I beat. Who's got the 41, the blue 41?
Oh, that's my nephew Nick.
Yeah, your nephew. Yeah, I actually beat a V8 powered Ford in a Ford
Wow.
Model T.
Yeah.
Granted, he's got probably about 2,000 pounds of sheet metal on
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
but
yeah.
still. That was, but yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's just the bit of chill on the arm, like when you line up and you're standing at the flag girl, which
Yeah.
she was.
Yeah.
I don't know how her knees survived that entire day because she was jumping.
Yeah, yeah.
Every launch she was jumping.
She was perfect.
She was great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
we do got to get her some relief for next year. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peggy? Are you up for that?
With my walker.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, just the view when you're standing there in a straight shot to tarmac, you know, it's like you were transported back to
Yeah, yeah.
California in
Yeah.
the 50s, you know.
Yeah, once the cars started coming like out of the pits and starting to wrap around,
Mhm.
that was when it was like, oh, this is
Yeah,
real.
this is the
happening.
thing.
Yeah,
This is
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Mhm.
So.
And you did the announcing there.
Yeah, I had a bit of a bird's eye view for
Yeah,
that
you did a
because I
great
was
job.
Sitting with Mark.
Yeah.
Mark was playing great selection of music.
Mhm.
Yeah, he really nailed the.
Yeah, he
soundtrack.
nailed the music selection. That was great.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were on the back of I don't know, F600, some old truck. You know, it perfectly fit the bill, right? It just
Oh,
looked
yeah.
like it had driven up there, and you know, just had the timing and the speakers and everything. And you know, other than trying to keep some shade,
Yeah,
once,
yeah.
once
Oh,
everything
yeah, yeah.
burned off.
Yeah, yeah.
All of a sudden, the sun's out, and you know, gingers and sun, not the best mix right there.
Well, that's,
You and Mark.
Yeah, the two of us, yeah, two gingers sitting trying to hold an umbrella up.
yeah, no, the one of the changes for next year is definitely like a little fixture to hold that umbrella up.
Yeah, but it was still cool, man. It was great sitting there. You see all the cars line
Yeah.
up, see them launch off the line. It was
Mhm.
a lot. You know, it was a great advantage point. It
Yeah.
was just to
Yeah.
be able to see it all.
Was that your truck they were set up on?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. You drove that there?
Uh,
No.
we flat towed it there.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy.
Because that's the one you use at your house. And for
Yeah,
the band.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, it gets used as a stage much
Right.
more than it gets used as a truck.
So I got another question: is how did you land at Ray Airport? Do you know somebody?
Well, my brother is a private pilot and has a hangar and is on the part of the. Is it a co-op?
It's an incorporation. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
It's basically owned by a club,
Mm-hmm.
but we have a board. Yeah.
but then there's a board of directors or whatever. So I just proposed it to them.
Yeah.
Or it was proposed to them, and we were able to arrive at a price and a date, and just able to rent the field for the day.
Nice.
So
Was there a lot of legal stuff you had to take care of in that?
insurance. Yeah, insurance was a hurdle. Local fire department, fire rescue.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some daunting things, like not daunting, but
Yeah.
like things I'm not used to dealing with, right?
Mhm. Right.
So,
Yeah, the first year was canceled because of COVID.
right.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah, it
great.
was supposed to be in 2020.
Yeah.
And obviously, everything died in 2020.
Right.
started to make an effort in 2021, and then
Yeah.
just decided, I forget which variant was kicking up, like in August.
Yeah.
So I'll just wait this out.
So what was the biggest challenge of getting the race on? What was the toughest part of getting it together? If there was one.
That's a great question. The insurance, like, getting the insurance together was tough because the company that does the insurance does like the supercar flying mile or standing mile events, you know, where the cars are going 260 miles an hour, and they do bigger events, and so it wasn't a big deal to them.
Right.
So like getting response, they're like, no, it's fine, just whatever. I'm like, well, I need to know what's going to cost. Like,
Yeah.
this is a shoestring operation here.
Yeah.
I realize it's not a big deal to you, but it's a big deal to me.
Yeah,
This is-
right.
You know, I had pretty specific parameters that this whole thing would work at as
Yeah.
far as being able to charge people not an exorbitant amount of money to be able to participate
Yeah.
and still have something. And so getting feedback from them and just, I mean, that was probably the most challenging.
Yeah. A pretty stressful day for you in the morning?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Making sure everything's going smooth
Yeah.
and
Like,
everything's
I
right.
think this is fun. And then,
Yeah. Am I having fun?
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Like 5:30 in the morning, you and I were going through your rock pile to pick up rocks
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
to anchor down the.
We had a bunch of
Oh,
oh, that's loud. We had a bunch of
those
basically
aluminum
throwaway
trays?
cookie sheets,
Yeah,
aluminum
yeah.
trays that we handed out to people in case the cars drip, and
Yeah.
didn't want, trying to leave as small a footprint on the airport
Yeah.
as possible. So yeah, I'm like, oh, these are gonna blow away. We need rocks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because it did
Remembered
get
that at 5 a.m. of
Yeah.
the race.
So, what was the best part of the day for you? The end of the race or end of the day where you could relax?
Honestly, yeah, but it wasn't because I could relax. It was because everybody I saw had a smile on their face.
Yeah.
And like, you know, kind of greeted people as they were pulling out, and everybody seemed to have a really good time. So,
Yeah, the food was good too.
oh, good.
Yeah,
Good.
everything was good. You guys even hand out donuts first thing in the morning. I was the first guy there, so I got a donut.
You actually got a donut.
I got a donut. I'll be there early next year.
Well, the food truck actually next year is going to show up early too and do breakfast burritos and
Oh,
stuff.
nice.
So yeah.
Yeah. I missed the food truck.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, by the time I got there, almost everything was gone.
Oh,
Yeah, they were
So-
happy. So
yeah. So, let's see. What else can I ask you guys about this?
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Peggy put this on there. Was it all you hoped for?
I mean,
And she said it like that too.
well, I mean, I was for not knowing what the hell I was doing,
Yeah.
for doing it on a shoestring, and
I think it was more than you hoped for.
it was more than I hoped for. Yeah, it was. I couldn't have been happier with how it turned out, and that was. I realized that after, based on other people's feedback, more
Well-
so than anything. Like everybody seemed to like, can't wait for next year.
Yeah,
You better
yeah.
do this again.
I got back home and immediately hit Instagram, and I sent Darren a text, and he was like, "I think we pretty much owned Instagram for 24 hours
Oh, yeah.
after that race."
Yeah.
Only because every post
Yeah.
was
The race.
5-7 Delta, 5-7 Delta,
Yeah.
and it was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me being a spectator and a racer, it seemed like you've done this before. I didn't see any of the behind the scenes stuff, any major malfunctions or anything like that. Everything just seemed like it was just a well-oiled
Well,
machine.
that's great because I mean, it was I mean there was a lot of teething issues.
Yeah.
Learned a lot.
Yeah.
So
But still, for a first time event,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it went off. I don't
Yeah.
think you could have had it go off any better.
No.
Just with
no, I mean was thrilled with how it all came together. I mean
Yeah.
we did put a lot of thought into stuff, but there's always things you're gonna miss, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there were a few cars that had malfunctions on the track. I don't remember who they were, but we
There
don't
was
need
one
to-
was that supercharged flathead, that truck,
yeah,
Okay.
and then the blue Roadster.
Blue Roadster and the suspect
the
device.
suspect.
Yeah, but the
device,
suspect, like they, hats off to them.
Yeah.
Oh man, what was it? They blew
The yoke.
the yoke off the
Yeah.
drive shaft, and they had it. They fixed it in the lot there and got
Yeah.
it back out again. But I think wasn't. I
Yeah.
mean, the huge effort to get that
Mhm.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my buddy Nick Hardy made this trophy out of an old vintage trophy, and it had the logo on it and stuff. He's like, he presented it to me at the show. He's like, just give this to whoever you want.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll give it to those guys, right?
Yeah.
Because they
They busted
busted
their
butt
butt.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
got it back
Yeah.
out there.
All day they were working on that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Determined.
Want a beer?
Yes, please.
Anybody?
Anybody else need a drink while we're?
I'm good right now.
All right.
Still good.
All right. Well, you got two going.
Well, you know,
Gotta be prepared.
It's
So-
rough.
I
Right.
show up a lot of times on
Always
social media with 2 drinks in hand.
Yeah. Right. Right.
You know, be prepared.
Jeff, did you want one?
Not yet.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, Darren, is there anybody you want to thank that helped out with the thing? You know, give any props to or anything like that?
I mean, my wife, brother Kent was instrumental in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Well, your nephew, he
My-
designed.
yeah, Nick with the 41 Ford, he did. We actually were able to give people trap speeds, and he put together a little system using gas station bell hoses and
Oh, okay.
Raspberry Pi computers, and was able to get people their trap speed.
Yeah,
So him
yeah.
and his brother and Kent's wife spent the day passing out not time tickets, but tickets
Those
with
little tickets, yeah.
yeah, with people's
Yeah.
speed on them. And
Yeah, when I first got mine, I was like, oh, cool. And I just threw it on the floor of the car. And another one on the floor. And I was like, I better save these. Because then I got home the next day, I framed the picture and I put my time tickets next to the. You probably
Oh,
see
yeah,
I
yeah.
put the time
Yeah, that
tickets
was
there.
cool.
It's a good memory, you know. It's like, it was great. I mean, that was a great freaking time.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm invited this year.
you are.
Okay.
But yeah, them and then
Boy, that would have been awkward.
I don't know how to tell you this, but
We're live on the air.
no. Also, my friend Laura, Laura from 309 Design, she did the T-shirts. She took my crappy artwork and made it into things that were usable. She actually handled all the merch for me. She was
Yeah,
huge. She
yeah.
she reached out to she was my point of contact for the fire department and all that stuff. She
Right.
was very instrumental.
me. So, do you have sponsors? Did you have sponsors for it? Or in this year, are you looking to get other sponsors or no?
I had offers of sponsorship from a couple guys.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I didn't pursue them.
Right.
I may do that this year. I've had a couple other offers as well.
Right. Right.
I want to be able to maybe develop a rainy day fund, but other than that, I want to do this for what it is. I don't
Yeah.
really, if I can make it break even every year or close to breaking even,
Right.
I'm very happy with that.
Do you want to get bigger, like a big event like the Trog or anything like that?
No. Yes and no. I want it to
Okay.
get bigger. I don't want it to be as big as Trump.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
And the Santa Barbara drags, that's pretty big too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And RPM Nationals.
Yeah.
And, hill climb that was out in Colorado.
Yeah.
But I would like to. I think we had
How many cars do we have?
right around 40.
It'd be cool to double that.
We want to double that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But really, not a lot more. I want all the spectators to be people that know the racers.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't want the county fair crowd there. You
Yeah.
know, I don't.
Yeah.
Because when you know when everybody there knows everybody there,
Yeah.
it's just a lot. I think it's a lot better environment, and like we didn't have to pick up any litter, nothing.
Right.
You know, so that was awesome.
Yeah.
And no problems with anybody either.
No,
No.
and I think small. Initially, when we were proposing this in 2020, it was gonna be
bigger.
it was bigger
Yeah.
and like nervously bigger, and I think the airport was getting nervous with how
Yeah.
many people were going to be there. So I don't really think the airport cares how many participants there are, but I think they're happy
Yeah.
if there's not a ton of spectators.
Right.
So that'll always be limited.
So you do the invitational, so you can keep it limited. So you're not having 200 cars racing, or I don't know how many raced that day. How many did race that day?
About 40.
40.
And
So
I
you're
think-
not having 200 cars out there, and I think then it would be just out of control. you
Yeah,
know?
well, the biggest complaint I've heard from people like with events like Trog and stuff is they They drive out to New Jersey, and it's a 2-day event, and they make 5 or 6 passes the whole time with their
Wow.
cars, right? And you could have hot lapped. You could have, if you wanted to, you could have made 50, 60 passes, right? At 5.7 Delta, and
Yeah.
that was important to me because I want people to be able to get.
Yeah.
It's not a cheap event to attend, so I want you to be able to run as much as possible.
Right. Right. I took advantage of it.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did like 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you win?
I beat Nick, and I beat
Well,
that.
so did
I
Rusty
beat-
with a 4.
Yeah, and I beat that. I think it's that stock maroon 49 Mercury,
Oh.
and then Bill handed my ass to me. And that's pretty much when I was like, I don't think I'm gonna do it anymore. You know,
Drive
'cause,
off into the sunset.
stock flathead is still mine's 85 horsepower.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
I thought you did warmed it up a little bit.
No, I haven't done any of that yet. I mean, it's still leaps and bounds above my Banger,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
right.
a stock flathead in the Model A is that's why I still have mechanical brakes on it, because everyone's like, oh, you got to switch to hydraulics. I'm like, yeah, flatheads were around until 37, 38. 39 was the first year for hydraulics, right?
39.
39. Yeah, so 85 horsepower flatheads have mechanical brakes all the way through at 38.
Yeah.
And those were heavier cars.
Yeah, they're a heavy car.
Yeah, so if you keep your mechanical brakes in check, they're fine.
Are they easy to keep in check, or is that
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
think they are.
adjusting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The power of steel from
Total
pedal to
wheel.
wheel.
Okay. Well, we're gonna switch gears now. We're gonna go and talk about this year's show.
Okay.
And anything new happening this year? What are you changing for this year?
There'll be a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that'll run differently, just for efficiency and,
Yeah.
and sanity purposes.
Mhm.
As far as things that are transparent to spectators and participants, if I get enough cars, I'd like to do a full-body car class. Maybe not even based on just, last year we had 4 bangers, flatheads, and overheads.
Yeah.
And I think I'd like to add a full-body car class, and not broken out by engines, just something for those cars.
Yeah.
And a lot of just like detail things. Me and my buddy Matt are working on some ideas just to kind of for aesthetics. My buddy Mike is I'm working with him on some little sculptures for trophies, things like that.
Yeah.
Like to see more participants.
Yeah.
We kept it small intentionally the first year, and like I said, it'll always try to maintain that intimacy, but
Right.
more participants. And I've had a lot of people reaching out to me that are like, "Why didn't I know about this?"
Yeah. Right.
So which is a good thing.
Time out. Eek. Would you shake this, Penny?
Got a live one.
That's how you know it's good. It's
Yeah,
feisty.
right. Okay, well, I don't know if I want to back up a little bit to last year's race. Did I ask anybody what their best moment of the day was? What's your,
Well, I'll chime in with. I think the best moment of the day was when the fog
yeah,
lifted up and you could see the track. And I think a lot of people didn't know. It's like when people started seeing the track. For me, that was like all of a sudden that turned into like here it is. We've made it.
it was like Field of Dreams.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, this is cool. I just remember standing on top of the truck and finally just seeing it lighten up enough that folks could see down the runway and see the look on their faces and like, oh yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
So that was it for me.
Jeffrey.
Mine would have been the tech.
Yeah.
The race was great actually when we all got out of our overalls and hiked it over there. But there was a moment where it was Aaron. Aaron was there was a line of cars all the way wrapped around that other hangar.
Wow.
And just seeing them in a line, going around, and then seeing the guys like on their knees. One of them was, and I think it was Aaron, was checking out under the hood of a car, and I was over at the sheets Kind of like, and that's one thing we'll probably improve on in the tech was we were a little flustered at first with getting the green sticker on the headlamps.
Oh, yeah.
To me, it was a pass, and
Mhm.
but we got it halfway through.
Yeah.
But just like looking at the guys doing the tech, and then I see Aaron get up and he looks at me and he just had the look on his face of just like this is
I'm digging this.
crazy, and it was like it literally felt like you were back in time seeing the guys in their overalls, and it felt amazing. I mean, don't get me wrong, seeing the cars go down the track was awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was the moment for me that it was like, this is something special.
Mhm.
And I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Darren?
Narrowing that down's hard because it was
You were all over
Yeah,
the
you were
place,
everywhere.
though.
You were running around like something
and
runs
I
around.
knew that would be the way the day would go for me,
Yeah.
and I was prepared for that. But like, I would say, seeing people show up, like, okay, they're coming. Like this,
Yeah.
like this is gonna happen. They don't think I'm full of crap, Or that was cool. And then Janine and I tried like greeting people as they were leaving, and
Yeah.
just everybody's like, I don't know, just the way. Everybody just seemed to have a great time.
Yeah.
A couple guys said it's the most fun they had with their car.
Mhm.
I mean, that's huge for me. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
That was awesome. And then just hanging out in the hangar afterwards with my brother,
Yeah.
cracked a couple beers, sat back, and
Yeah.
opened
Relaxed.
up our phones and like, wow.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And also it was, I know it was a big day, but it was also, for me, it was quite relaxing. When you got back to your car and everybody's just hanging out by the cars, just shooting the shit, and then it's time to race, you go race, and it wasn't, I don't know, it was just, I don't know, relaxing, but it was just a very,
Well, there was a little mini car show kind of happening
Yeah.
there at the same time.
yeah, I was parked by that, yeah.
And it was kind of like when you went over to the pits, everyone was kind of, everyone would walk over to somebody's car,
Yeah,
check it
yeah.
out. And yeah, it was cool.
It was just very laid back, I mean,
Very.
but it's fun at the same time, it wasn't like. It
No,
was,
I mean, we were
you know,
going for kind of like
Yeah.
hoping for a laid back picnic type
Right,
atmosphere.
right.
Just
And the music wasn't blasting loud or anything like
right,
that.
right. We didn't want. I mean, I love live music.
Yeah.
but-
Are you gonna have a band this year or no? Because
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think we're just going to kind of keep it at its.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm working on maybe having a pre-party. Maybe we
Okay.
do it at that.
Yeah.
Depending on if I can work that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably should have said that, but I don't know. So I'm working on it. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of want to keep it to its core. I want to
Yeah.
keep
yeah.
it about the cars and the people.
Mhm.
I mean, like I said, I love live music, but I kind of want, I don't know,
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
music in the background to take up some of the quiet when there's not racing going on.
Right. Now, are you gonna have the setup how you have it? You're gonna keep it pretty much the same?
I think I'm going to slide the pits closer to the track.
Oh, okay.
Like they were on kind of the north end of the tarmac. I
Yeah,
think they'll be on
yeah.
the south end of the tarmac,
Okay.
and in the grass maybe. And then I think we can contain that. Initially, I wanted like the car show to be along the starting line.
Okay.
So, because you look at like old pictures of Santa Ana and stuff like that, and there were spectators were just lined up. They were lined all the way down the track.
Wow.
But I can't do that.
Yeah.
But unless I put jersey barrier in, which I can't do.
Mhm.
So, trying to have that kind of so when you took pictures, it looked like the car show was just spectators'
Yeah,
cars,
right,
right? And
right.
things like that. So, but I think I'm going to shift the pits kind of over closer and maybe just have the pits and the car show just kind of intermingled. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't. It's not like we have separate pit passes or anything. It's
Yeah,
all
right.
part of the same show. So.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you picked the date yet. I know you were going back and forth on the dates. You have a date set?
Yeah, it's going to be September 30th.
September 30th.
Initially, I put out a thing that said it was going to be September 23rd.
Mhm.
A couple of weeks ago, found out that, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, found out that there was a pretty significant conflict.
Mhm.
So it's going to push back a week to the September 30th.
Okay. I think I can make it.
Cool.
I'll be there. So, anything else you want to talk about the race coming up this year? Is everything?
Yeah, I mean, things are moving along.
Yeah.
Said we're hoping to have some more. We're looking to got a couple of guys that have reached out from out of state that are very interested that have really appropriate cars.
Yeah.
I got a shout out to West Michigan for last year.
Yeah.
They
They were
represented. It was huge. There was I think there was many guys from West Michigan as there was from Detroit.
Yeah.
And I think maybe we'll get some more local participation now that people know. I mean, it's kind of a lot to expect somebody to send you $125 to sign up for something that's never happened before.
Yeah, right.
They've been talking about happening for 2 years from a guy that nobody knows.
Right, right.
So
Yeah.
I got to shout out. I got to think that maybe now that people know I'm not totally full of crap.
Right, right.
That they'll be more interested in participating.
And I'm sure they go back and tell their friends, man, I was at this fucking race over the weekend.
Yeah.
You know.
Like Bill from Brothers, Bill and Autumn from Brothers, and Mike and John from Gas X. They helped out a lot with that too, because they
Yeah.
kind of
Huge.
they got cars there, because like, well, if these guys are talking about it,
Yeah.
it can't be
Maybe that bad.
right, yeah.
Yeah, and Autumn came up to me. It was pretty much after everyone raced, and she said that this was the most fun she's ever had.
Yeah.
And for Autumn to say that,
Yeah.
wow. And there will be another roadster there this year, possibly. Maybe,
Oh, yeah, there will be.
Maybe banger powered.
Yeah, actually running. Yeah.
I hope so.
It will
just,
be.
just a little.
It will
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
If I got to mortgage the house, I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How we doing on time, Peg?
Good.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
You could talk about how many people heard about it the night before too, and how many of those shirts were mingling around downtown the day after.
Oh yeah. There was like local guy, Top Hat John. He showed up and he heard about it at the Black Tie Gala for the auto show.
Okay.
So I'm like,
Wow.
so he came out, and then the next day was the Concours downtown, and people were sending me pictures of people wearing the T-shirts
Wow.
down there. So I'm like, okay,
It's getting out there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you had people
People showed
putting
up
the
midday.
T-shirts on right then.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
day of the
Yeah, I
race.
did. Yeah.
You know, and just seeing like the T-shirts already on backs.
Yeah.
Wow, this is.
Yeah.
I went out to Grand National Roadster Show in the beginning of February and saw a couple people out there wearing them.
Really?
I'm like, wow.
That's awesome, man.
And it wasn't me. I wasn't one of them.
Yeah. Jeez. Kent, is there anything you want to add? Anything of the day? Like, what'd you think of everything?
I was a little nervous, right, because I represent the interests of the airport,
Right.
primarily, right. But I dig the scene and all that, but I have to keep that all separated,
Yeah.
So once I saw everything was kind of running smooth, and we weren't going to have any any conflicts with that,
Right.
and then I relaxed and had a great time after that. I was kind of like Darren, I was trying to hit all the spots and
Yeah,
make sure everything
right.
was tight, but. No, I was really pleased. I was pretty sure that the crowd that was coming was going to be kind of like the crowd that the airport guys are, expecting. Like,
Yeah.
if you go to Oshkosh, that's millions of people over the course of a week.
Yeah.
And like Darren said, we didn't pick up any trash. That's how Oshkosh is.
Oh.
They'll have 250,000 people on the field in the weekend, and there's no garbage, right? So we were pretty sure that this was going to be the same kind of crowd, and I was very pleased that
Very cool.
that
Yeah.
everyone really respected it and kind of dug our little slice of heaven and wanted to be a part of it.
Right. That's awesome. Okay, I think we're done asking those kind of questions about the race. You pretty much covered everything on that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. September 30th.
September
5-7
30th,
Delta.
57 Delta. The invitational at 57 Delta
Yeah.
on Instagram, all underbars between.
Okay. And when are you going to start advertising or sending invites out or whatever, how you're going to do
Now
it?
that we got the date pretty much nailed down, probably next week or so, I'll start. And I always say, like, it's an invitational, but you can totally ask to be invited.
Yeah.
So we just doing the invitational format
Yeah.
allows you to have less rules
Right.
because it's I like that, and that
Mhm.
seems to fit, and it makes it easier for me.
Right. So the invitational is just going to, you're not going to because everybody that was in the race, you have all their mailing information. You're not going to mail out postcards or anything, or you're just going to do the same thing you did last year.
I'm gonna reach out to people. Like,
Okay.
I mean, pretty much. I think everybody from last year. I don't think we had trouble with anybody. So
Right.
everybody from last year will be invited back, and
Right.
then I'll extend it to, there was a few people that were very interested last year that I had a conflict with the date, so hopefully they can come out. And
Yeah.
Just a couple last minute dropouts because of mechanical problems.
mechanical
Yeah,
problems, yeah, like 3 or 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And then, like, don't decide to change your oil right before it, because,
Right. Something can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
oh, there's full of coolant. Well, it could have raced full of coolant.
Yeah.
It's a little more engine
Yeah, it's
damage.
already- it's
you know,
already-
you got- you got
right,
It's
right.
already,
insulation,
it's
right?
already broken, just break it a little harder. But no, so yeah, I'll be sending out invites, and like, I've got some leads for some other folks, and, like I tell people, like, if you get invited and you know somebody that, or if you know somebody that is like-minded, has a car that, a traditional hot rod,
Right.
custom stock car or whatever,
Right.
forward the information to me or forward my information to them, and
Yeah.
it's, I'd love to be able to, turn people away.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean? I'd love to have the, the pick of the litter
Yeah,
if
yeah.
possible. That's a goal, but
Yeah.
It's a good goal.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. All right, so we're going to switch gears. No, thank you. So now we're going to talk. I'm going to ask you guys. We'll start with Jeff. What car did you drive in high school?
I drove a 1957 Ford F100.
Oh, come on.
I did.
You were a real cool kid back then, eh?
Yeah. I bought my family, my brother, my older brother Kirk. When he was getting ready to turn 16, he wanted an old car,
Yeah.
and my parents would not let him have one. I'm 4 years younger, and I think he settled on a 1986 Mustang LX, and I was 15. And we had moved to Mackinac City, and I spied this 49 Dodge on the side of the road, and it had been there for years, probably 15, 20 years
Yeah.
for sale. It was in the ground. And so I bought it, and I didn't tell my parents, and I had it shipped to my house.
Yeah.
And, they got really upset, and they're like, what? And I'm like, I knew you were never going to let me have one, so I just kind of had to go run your back.
Yeah.
And a guy that worked with my dad, kind of found out that I was into old cars, and he spied this 57 Ford F100 on a dealership, and it was $1,000, and I drove it all 4 years of high school.
Do you still have that truck?
I do not. That my red and white one is basically when I turned 40, I wanted it back,
Oh, okay.
and I had heard that it went to it's up in the heavens now. I heard it went to
Oh.
the scrapper in the sky.
Oh, man. So what is your classic car you have now?
I have a 29 Model A coupe with a 36 LB flathead V8, and my 60 F100 with the 292 Y block.
Oh, cool. Darren, first car in high school. This ought to be good, right?
it was a '83 Fox Body Mustang,
Oh, okay.
V6. I wasn't allowed. Somewhat strict parents.
Yeah.
I thought when I turned 16, I knew nobody was getting me a car,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought when I turned 16 I'd be allowed to buy one, and that proved to be not true either. I remember I was looking through an auto trader. My dad's like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like, "I'm shopping for a car." And he's like, "For who?" I'm like, "For me. I'm 16." He's like, "Where the hell are you gonna put it? You ain't putting it here." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Jeez." Luckily, like a millage didn't pass or something. The school buses weren't gonna run, so they were gonna have to drive me to school. So then I was allowed to buy a car,
Yeah.
but I wasn't allowed to buy anything with a V8 in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was allowed to put a V8 in something.
Oh.
So V6 Mustangs had C4 transmissions in
Yeah.
them, and so I bought one of those, and then bought a 5-liter, and my dad and brother helped me build the engine, put the engine in it, and
Wow.
put a paint job and a top on it, and it ended up being a pretty decent car.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that was my first car. It's kind of a cliche '90s thing, but
Yeah. Right. Right. So what classic car do you have now?
got a '59 Edsel that I own about half the miles on it. I've driven that about 45, 50,000 miles.
Wow.
Not much recently. Had an engine trouble recently, but so that's customized. It's about 2 inches off the ground, shaved,
Yeah, that's a nice car.
nose decked, metal flake paint.
Mm-hmm.
So they have that. I've got a 29 Roadster that's almost done.
Uh-huh.
That's it's like a early 40s, late 30s style hot rod that's got a hopped up banger in it.
Okay.
Franklin quick change rear end, things like that.
Yeah, I see you. It was at Eyes on Design, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yep.
And then I've got another project which is well, I have that steak truck.
Mhm.
And I've got another project which is a 50 Ford 2-door sedan.
Cool.
That is
That's chopped.
That's
by
got a,
Wednesday.
Chop,
it's got
yeah.
a famous chop on it.
yeah, it's got a Winfield shop.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it turned out that's kind of a story.
Mm-hmm.
It was an impulse purchase, $650 2-door shoebox on the side of the road, and it might have been slightly overpriced. But I bought it. I bought it and stuck it in the corner of the barn, and then Autorama 2018. The car that was supposed to get, it was when they were doing the Winfield chops at Autorama.
Yeah.
They did that for a few years. And the car that was supposed to get chopped made itself, it was like 2 weeks before the show, the car that was supposed to get chopped wasn't available.
Ah.
So I got a phone call from Bill, from Brothers, saying, hey, would you want to get that shoebox chopped by Winfield? Well, that's a no-brainer. Right?
Yeah.
Of course I do. Right? But so that's sitting. That's I've been accumulating parts for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a $650 impulse buy that's now a responsibility,
Yeah.
which I'm not complaining at all. But
Mhm.
I'm like,
Right.
well, I got to do this thing. I got to do this thing. It's justice now. So.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. Rusty.
I did not have a cool car in high school. A Jersey kid, so it was a little bit of a different car culture out there. But my first car was a 1998 Isuzu Rodeo.
I'm going to have to ask you to leave, Rusty.
Yeah, I know. It was with my family. The way it worked
Yeah.
was, you know, we couldn't have. We had a 2-car garage.
Yeah.
And that was mom and dad's car. I was parking on the street. There was no real opportunity for
Right.
any other, you know, fun car at that point. And you know, it wasn't. Jersey car culture was a lot different than around here.
Really?
You know, it was more. You know, it was more the appliance to get to and from school and to and
Right.
from a job. That was
Yeah.
more about what it was. So, yeah. I think I've made up for it.
I think
since
you
then.
have.
You shocked me. I would have never thought that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. Well, it came from my dad because it was his, and then we worked a deal, and he picked up a Jeep Grand Cherokee for himself because and the thing had a ton of miles on it because he was driving 100 miles a day.
Wow.
Yeah, back and forth to work. So, you know, it was reliable. I drove it all the way through college, and then it met a sorry end on I-70 in Ohio one night in the rain. So. But like I said, I'd like to think I've made up for it.
Yeah, I
since
think
then,
so.
so
Yeah.
But-
So now we got to sit here.
yeah,
The cars you have. What's your classic car you have now?
Do we have enough time left?
Yeah, right.
Oh, jeez.
He's running out of names too.
Yeah.
That's really the bigger problem.
Yeah.
I'm starting to run out of names for these things. So, and the fleet has expanded since the last time I was here, and I think probably even some of you guys aren't aware of it. That let's see. So it starts with the 1906 Rio Model B, 1-cylinder, named Hazel. We move to the yet unnamed 1913 Studebaker Model 25, which is a touring car and was a house for raccoons in Indiana. It needs a lot of work, so that's a long-term project. We have the 1914 Studebaker named Eleanor, famously tried to kill me last year working on that one. And then we start moving into the Model T land, so my 1923 Model T Speedster, which is what was at 5.7 Delta last year, that's a done up in a late 20s, early 30s style Speedster. So it's got a 28 Chevrolet head on it, a transmission from a 23 Chevrolet Superior, which I use as sort of like an overdrive, underdrive box. And that car is shockingly quick. And then I have a 1923 Ford Model T truck, which I'm in the process of rebuilding the engine because I will never run a stock T crankshaft again. It's garbage. Let's see. I skipped one. The 22 Oldsmobile V8 touring named Marie. Speedster is named Virginia. Truck is named Rose. 27 Buick sedan, which is Dorothy. 31 Chevrolet Independence is Maggie, and then the newest of the fleet is the 41 Studebaker President Deluxe Tone Land Cruiser, which had a tiny bit of fire, so that one's also a project car.
Making a big jump. Right into the 40s.
I'm going. You know, the president. That car was a tragedy. That was a 5-year-old restoration. It was immaculate, and the guy, not the guy who did the restoration, and not the guy I bought it from, he plumbed a Carter Racing fuel pump into the carburetor with no regulator, and caught the thing on fire. And then instead of doing the right thing, which, have a fire extinguisher, use that, he slammed the hood shut thinking it was a grease fire. So and instead it just blew right through the grommet on the firewall and torched the interior as well. So that's another long-term project that I'm slowly accumulating parts for to get back up and running again. So.
All right, Kent.
I drove a 6060 Econoline panel van
Okay.
with a V8 in it. Total death trap. Your face is the first thing at the scene of the
I was
accident.
gonna say, are your knees the crumple zone in that one, or?
They are.
Yeah.
Right.
Was that a 289 or 302?
Had a 289 in it, and I hurt that and put a 302 in it. Yep. But they never came with that. They were all straight sixes.
Yeah.
So, do you have a classic car?
I've had some projects. I have a 59 Anglia
Oh, wow.
and a 61 Corvette. Both,
Cool.
both projects.
Yeah.
And then you
Nice.
got the Ranger.
Yeah, I have a 86 Ranger crew cab with a small block fuel injected turbo E85. That's
Yeah.
kind of not this crowd, but yeah.
I've seen it around.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, I think we're going to go over to Mark Church Speed Round. Little automotive trivia questions. Anybody can answer.
So you got 8 minutes
8 minutes
at the most.
at the most. Okay, here we go. This ill-fated division of Ford briefly overlapped Mercury in price during its short run from 1957 to 1960. What is it?
You
An
gotta
Edsel,
know
a
that.
Lincoln, or a Cougar, or a Zephyr?
It's Edsel.
Edsel.
Final answer?
Yes.
Well, it's an Edsel. That was for you.
I was gonna say, if I didn't know that one, I should have been sure.
Okay, the next one. This former GM brand began as an independent manufacturer in 1897.
Ding, ding, ding. Oldsmobile. Actually, it's the Olds Motor Works is what was founded, but they made the Oldsmobile.
Should I finish reading?
Final answer.
Okay. All right, we're moving right along. Okay, the next one here. This will make me stump you guys. Beginning life as a trim of the Electra, this performance coupe sedan was named its own model from 1962 to 1970.
Riviera.
Which was it? 442, Wildcat, Riviera, or Centurion?
Oh, is it the Wildcat was the
Wildcat?
engine, I thought.
Yeah. Well,
There was an independent Wildcat.
There was a
It was, yeah, but I
Yeah,
thought
my aunt had a Wildcat. Like the car was called the Wildcat.
right, but
But
I think it might be the Skylark. Ooh.
Skylarker's not one of the.
Oh,
no, Centurion.
442, Wildcat, Riviera, Centurion.
I'm going Riviera.
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, I'd say Riviera.
Darren?
I'll be the odd man out and say the. No, I don't remember what it was. The Wildcat.
Wildcat.
Nice
Oh,
job.
nicely done.
Yes, that was it. Okay, I think we're done here.
What about promoting Rusty's?
Rusty's
YouTube?
podcast.
Yes.
That was you
YouTube.
just had.
Yeah, you just had one come out, didn't you, recently?
Yeah, the job gets in the way of all the fun
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
When gotta keep the bills so I can keep buying parts for fixing broken Studebakers. So Antique Automotive Acres on YouTube. Just launched a video. I have another one I'm got to try and upload here in the near future. Latest episode was talking about as I mentioned, the 14 Studebaker and how it tried to kill me. Snapping a spindle, 0 out of 10. Don't recommend going through that one. Not fun. So getting into the process of getting that car back up and running again. And I'm trying to get more videos together, but as it always goes, life just gets busy.
Oh yeah,
But-
yeah.
Yeah.
And your lathe was owned by Studebaker, was it not?
Dodge Brothers. They were-
Dodge Brothers.
Dodge Brothers, yeah. My 1911 Hindi 16 by 6, what they would have called a cone head, because it would have actually been a flat belt drive lathe that's been converted. But yeah, I did the research on that, and there's a guy, much like antique cars, there are,
Yeah.
antique machinery guys as well, and he has all the factory records and said based on the serial number was stamped in the ways originally, and those ways have been scraped about 16 ways from Sunday to keep them
Yeah.
true. But I could pick the number up, and he did the research and came back and said it was bought in 1911 by the Dodge Brothers.
Wow,
That's
cool.
Yeah.
So would that have been in Nikki's Pizza down in?
No, my theory is because it was 1911. That's the year they moved to Hamtramck.
Oh, okay.
That they kitted out Dodge Main. They were just starting, and I think what I would, if I had to guess, based on I think it was late. I have the date at home. It was late 1911. They probably were fitting out the new factory in Hamtramck, so they bought that machine in batch for,
Wow.
building up the new factory. But oddly enough, it probably made parts for my Studebaker because the Dodge Brothers they weren't making cars at that point. They were still just making.
yeah.
They were
Yeah.
just making parts for everybody,
Right.
Oldsmobiles, Fords, and my 14 Studebaker has Dodge Brothers branded parts on it, so it could theoretically have made parts for that car in 1914, and now it's doing it again in 2023.
Wow.
That is so cool.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Jeffrey, thanks for driving from Sutton's Bay.
Absolutely.
And it was a
Yeah.
hell of a ride.
6 hours.
Oh man,
You went the long way. You took the coast?
Oh God! No, honestly, I've never driven in weather that bad.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right.
it was a 3. It's usually probably a 3-hour drive,
Yeah.
and it took me. I left the house at 10 after 9, and I got basically to your door at 5 to 3.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. I would
Yeah.
have turned around. Screw this.
Yeah,
But I appreciate you driving all
absolutely.
this
I
way.
want to be a part of it.
Yes, yes. Darren, thank you very much too.
Thank you for.
And thanks for putting on the 5.7 Delta. It's
It's
awesome.
Absolutely my
Yes.
pleasure.
Rusty, thank you too.
yeah, thanks for
Thanks for
having me.
driving out from Highland Township?
Yeah,
Should I-
out in the
Should I said that?
scenic, somewhere in southeast Michigan.
Okay. All right. Kent, thank you too for coming out.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. I got one car show I have to mention that's coming up. The Hood Rats have a car show coming up July 22nd. It's at a church on 13 Mile Road in Warren. You can look it up on Facebook. They have the posters everywhere on there. So it's their 5th annual. I think they got like 3 bands playing out there, and it's a real good show if you can make it out there. So Hood Rats car show, July 22nd, and that's about all I know about the car show. So thanks again. This is episode 14, and we're out.